Shalom Israel, Shalom. It's your boy Ben Onai. First and foremost, I want to call on YAHAWAH, Ba'ashem, YAHAWAH. It's heating up Israel. It's heating up. And this video, we're going to call this video Time to Look Up. And the reason why I'm saying it's time to look up, because the heavens is speaking. And if we look up, we will see the signs. You know, those who have the mark, they will see the signs. You know, and it's time for us to look up. It's time for all you so-called black, native, and Hispanic to look up. All the 12 tribes of Israel to look up. The heavens is talking. The heavens is speaking its own language. Remember, we are here to do the Father's will. So it's time for us to look up. Looking up is very important. And, you know, before I go any further, I'm going to start with the scriptures in the book of Revelation. Right? So in the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 3. And it reads, "Blessed is he that readeth, and hear that hear." Excuse me, Israel. Excuse me. "Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of his prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." And it's very important, you know what I mean, that we read and that we study and that we pay close attention to what is going on around the world. Because what is going on around the world, believe you me, there's things that is happening that you wouldn't be able to see with your naked eyes. You're going to need your spiritual eyes to see what's going on. Because it's happening right around us. And you know what I mean? Some of we were still lost. You know, because we do not seek no knowledge. We do not seek to understand. You know what we want to talk about? We want to talk about what the latest rapper said. You know what I mean? What the basketball stars are doing. You know what I mean? What Beyonce wearing today. Those are the things of some of our men and our women want to conversate about. Worldly things. Things that cannot help them. Things that does not matter to them and cannot help them in no way, shape or form. You understand me, Israel? So it's very important that we stay focused and stay diligent. You know what I mean? For the time is really at hand. And I will read this scripture one more time. We're in the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 3. "Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written within, for the time is at hand." And you know, some of you might wonder, you know, why starting there if this video is going to be about the videos look up? Right? Because guess what? We have to read, and we have to be able to understand the prophecy. We have to be able to understand the time and understand what is going on in the time so that we can use discernment. Right? Now we're going to go down to Revelation. Excuse me, Israel. Now we're going to go into the book of Genesis. And we're going to start at Genesis chapter 1. And we're going to read verse 14. Right? "And God said, Let there be light. And God said, Let there be light." Alright, 1 second here. Yes, we're going to start it. Yes. Excuse me, Israel. "And God said, Let there be light in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and for years." Right? So God is telling us that within the heavens, we got to look towards the heavens. You know what I mean? Because when he tell you let there be light, in the firmament, when you look up into the heavens, to divide what? The day from the night. And let them be for what? Signs. Right? And let them be for what? Seasons. And let them be for what? Days. And let them be for years. Right? So looking up into the heavens is very important to help you understand what time we in, to help you understand what is going on. Because there's lots of things that is taking place right now that we have no clue or no idea what is going on. Right? So when we read and we keep those things that is in, as the book of Revelation told us, what is it doing for us? Number one, it what? It strengthening your what? Your faith. right? It's strengthening your faith in the Heavenly Father. It's strengthening your faith in YAHAWAH, right? It's strengthening your faith in the Most High Yahweh the power. And strengthening your faith, you're going to need your faith to be strengthening in these perilous times that we live in. You know what I mean? The people them that is still partying and still living it up and chasing worldly things, you know, they're going to continue doing what they do, you know. But the very elect, you know, the people them that understand these words and know these words, and these words touching their heart, as these words come out from my lips, and as you watch this video, you know, you're going to get a different vibes. You're going to get a different feeling, right? Because you're not like everybody else, right? Because he says this world to come is for few, but this world that we live in here right now is for many. You understand? So I'm going to go down to Ezekiel. Go into the book of Ezekiel. Just bear with me 1 minute. Let's go into the book of Ezekiel. And what do I want in the book of Ezekiel? What do I want in the book of Ezekiel? So we're going to go into the book of Ezekiel, and I want what, chapter 7? Yes, chapter 7. And we're going to read from chapter 7. And we're going to read chapter 7, verse 19. And it reads, "They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the days of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their soul, neither fill their bowls, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity." So what this verse is pretty much saying is that those golds and those silvers and those things that you so seek after is not going to be able to save you in the wrath of Father judgment. It's not going to be able to save you from the things which are is to come. What is going to be able to save you is what? Your faith in the Most High, your faith in keeping these commandments, your faith in rehearsing his righteous act. Because we as a people, we have a duty to fulfill, right? And some of us think we can just live and just say we believe and that's it. When your kids in your very house do something wrong, you punish them for it. Some of us, we punish them by cutting off their finance. We punish them by not supporting the things that they do until they can listen to you. Some of them, we put the kids on timeout, you know. So your kids get punishment from you, and you know, as the children of God, you feeling what? He's not going to punish you for the things you have done. So putting your faith in silver and gold, it wouldn't be able to save you in the day of his wrath and in the day of his judgment. It would not. So we got to be able to take serious pride in what is it that we're doing, and what is it that we have to do, and what is it that is required from us, from our God. And if we don't take serious pride in that, I'm sorry to say, but most of us, we're going to be falling by the wayside. You know, we are going to be falling by the wayside. So we have to take very, 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 very serious the things of God. Because most of us is feeling, and we sit down in discomfort because you do something right now and nothing is not happening to you right now. You think, oh, you're getting away with it. But the God that we serve, man, is a God of long suffering, man. So whenever you think that you're getting away with stuff, you're not getting away with stuff. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, something just come and hit you, bam, and that's it, be the end of you. You know what I mean? So don't think for ever 1 second that the God that we serve is a God to play with. He's not a God to play with. So to you native so-called black and Hispanic, we have to come back to his last statutes and commandments. We have to come back to knowing our God and to serving our God. Because if we don't come back to serving him and doing what is required of us, then, you know, our faith is doomed. Right? And, you know, we got to warn the people, right? because I don't want your blood to be on my hands. So we got to warn the people. And I'm going to go down into the book here of Jeremiah. And we're going to read Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14 through 15. Right? And to read these scriptures, like I said, you're going to say, well, how is this video look up? And why is these scriptures apply? Because when you look up and you see the signs and you read these scriptures, you will be able to have the faith. You will be able to know exactly what is going on. So that when you look up into the heavens and you see the signs of the heavens, you do not be dismayed and you do not be confounded to what is going on in the earth. So when you see all what's happening on your TV screen, when you're seeing these people is coming door to door and telling you to take the vaccine, you will know that there's a bigger agenda behind you taking the vaccine. You will know that there's a bigger agenda of why people have to come door to door in order to get you to take the vaccine. Why people have to run all of these campaign ads in order to get you to take vaccine. You will understand that there is a bigger agenda. Because when you see the signs and you put two and two together, you will know exactly what that means. But if you're living in a world where you're lost and you are accustomed talking about worldly things and nothing that can save your soul, then this is not for you, man. And like I would always say, man, these words need no convincing, man. These words is for the very elect, the people that God is dealing with, you know, and he's sending his shepherds them to warn you people before the day of destruction. So these are all warnings so that you can be able to look and to see and to know exactly what is going on, because the heavens is speaking, the sign around the earth is speaking. Let's not play no games here, man. You guys can see all the wildfire that is going on. You can see all the flood that is going on around the earth. These things are happening. These things are destroying crops, which in crops is not going to be able to be able to grow and to be able to reproduce in a timely and a manly fashion. And the time is coming, because we relax right now, most of us, especially some of us in the north, because guess what, we still have 911 we can dial. But when that day is going to come, when you start seeing the inflation start getting more crazy, because things are already inflated, we can look around and we can see in the grocery store that prices are already being inflated, and we know it's not going to be going down back. So when your loaf of bread be start coming $10, $15, and it's starting to rising up, because by then some of us we still going to be able to afford it. But as when it start rising up, then you will know. Then you will have a sense of understanding of what is going on. Then you will know. Then you will know. But I'm here to warn you and to let you know you do not have to wait until that day comes. Now is the time for you to seek the Most High face. Now is the time for you to study and to find out the truth about the Most High. Now is the time for you to store up your spiritual treasures, man. Now is the time for you to come into the fold and to know what is wrong from what is right. Now is the time for you to stop being blindsided by the dainties of this world. Now it's time for you to stop being worrying about what man is going to do, because man is not in control. God is in control of both sides. So when you start getting things clear in your mind and understand how the Father works, then it will better prepare you in your mind, spirit, body, and soul, that you can have an ease, you can have a comfort, knowing that what is required of you, you must do, in order that you can continue to keep his faith, keep his laws, statutes, and commandments, and do his righteous work and rehearse his righteous act on this earth, so that you can put yourself in that number, man. You know what I mean? You don't have to walk around like these Christians, man, talking about they save. They save and a car could come and hit them down right now and kill them, and they're talking about they save. You know, it tells you, man, he that keepeth his work, man, Revelation 2:26, he that keepeth his work unto the end, the same shall be saved, man. So we got to keep this works, man. This is for you to keep your faith in order to keep these works. Because when you look up, man, and you see the signs up above and you understand what is going on, it's for you to keep your faith, man. It's for you to keep your faith strong in him, knowing that he will deliver thee, not man. He will deliver thee. And as I will get into the book of Jeremiah 16, and we're gonna chapter 16, and we're gonna read verse 14 through 15. Therefore, behold, the days cometh, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Verse 15. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he have driven them, and I will bring them again into their own lands that I gave unto their fathers. So all of you forefathers go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Come on, man. We know our history, man. We know our history. So you all there in Guyana and calling yourself Guyanese. You all there in Trinidad and calling yourself Trinidad. Haiti and calling yourself Haitian. You all of those places that where the Lord has scattered us and driven us, man. He's going to bring us out from all of these places. You know what I mean? All of these places that he has scattered us, he's going to bring us out from there. You know, as he's saying, everybody know the story about Egypt. Pharaoh, let my people go. And I will read it again, because he's telling you, therefore, behold, the days cometh, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. So now everybody know about the story that God bring out the children them of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But days gonna come when we're not gonna say that no more. Verse 15. This is what we're going to be talking in the future. Verse 15. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from the land whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their own lands that I gave unto their fathers. So all of you people who end up in Guyana and calling yourself Guyanese, know your history. Know how you got there. Know that the people them that you live among is not your friends, is not your family. Those are the people them who came there as indentured workers, not as slaves. They get paid to whip your ass and to beat your back. Know your history, man. Know who you're surrounded by. Psalm 83 don't tell you who your enemy is, man. For they are confederate against thee, man. So know your people who you're surrounded, man. So all of you who holding hand in hand and thinking that you and all of these people are cool and you and all these people are friends, they're not your friend. Spiritually, they're not your friend. Because deep down inside, in their soul, they know exactly who you be. So they're not your friend. And you know, a gift make the heart go funny. So some of you might get help from one and two of these people, and you might think, oh, these people are... Miss me with your bullshit, man. Miss me with your foolishness, man. Because it tells me how simple you are as a person. You know what I mean? Because you would not know your own history to understand where you're coming from in order to know where you're going. So when we start looking up and we start seeing these signs, we will have faith. We will know exactly what is going on. We will know who our enemies is. You understand? We will know that. Enemies does not always mean the man who's coming shooting you down with a gun. Your enemy could be smiling and eating and drinking with you. Come on. You guys listen to Bob Marley's and all of these songs. He tells you some would eat and drink with you. Those people are still your enemies, man. So your enemies come in all different form. Your enemies could be the same doctor that is encouraging you to take vaccine. But how he's doing? Does he come shooting you with a gun? He's very subtle in his approach. You know, so this is how our enemies move, man. And very cunning, you know. So we gotta wise up, man, because now it's time to look up. Now it's time to keep our focus, man, because our focus need to be kept. And if we're not keeping our focus, then something is totally wrong with you. All right, because you have to keep your focus. And I'm gonna bring you guys into the book of Daniel, and I'm gonna show you there is men here who keep the faith of the Lord and who got delivered by keeping the faith of the Lord and doing his work, statutes, and commandments. You know, so there's people here that is example for us. Like when we read, you know, and no matter the things that we're going through, we know how to be strong. When we look at the story of Joseph, we know how to be strong. Joseph was a man of the Lord, and you see how the Lord raised him up high in the land of Egypt. Joseph being in jail. All of these things happened to Joseph. But Joseph what? Still kept the commandments and still keep the faith. If you guys know the story of when Potiphar's wife wanted to give himself unto her, he did not went and sleep with his wife like some of us do today, knowing that a woman is there taken by somebody else and you guys going and sleeping with somebody else woman. You know what I mean? You're not doing the law's rightful judgment acts of the Father. If you have a mind like that, how could you have faith in order to do his works? Joseph is a man of example of faith. Those people keep the faith. Those people went through a lot of things. You do the book of Daniel. All of these prophets, Ezekiel, all of these prophets. These prophets was in captivity. And these were prophets of God. They did not turn their back and curse God, even though what they were going through. They kept the faith. And they were in captivity. So when we read and we study, we know how to keep the faith. We know that no matter what these people bring us, how these people are trying to get us to take vaccine and targeting our community to take vaccine with the drugs that is unstudied, things that you cannot even go ahead and go sue the very people them that made these things if anything happened to you down the line. It's already written and said in the books. You cannot sue nobody. Nobody cannot be held accountable. But yet people is promoting this thing that if it's something that is good to go. It's not good to go, man. You know, vaccine is not good to go. You understand me? So we got to keep our focus here, man. We got to keep our focus here. We got to stay faith. And I'm talking to you so-called black, native, and Hispanic. You know what I mean? The true people them of God. The true Israelite of God. Were forefathers who go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the Bible. You're the people them I'm speaking to. Because we got to come out of this system, man. We got to come out of this system. When I say come out of this system, I'm talking about spiritually. Spiritually and mentally, this connection that we have. I'm not telling you to remove your physical body. I'm talking about spiritually. Not being able to get caught up into this place. So that we can get back to loving our brother. Loving ourselves. As if it was part of our custom and our culture. This is not a religion. Being an Israelite is not a religion. You know. This is your customs. This is your history. This is your family structure. So we got to get back to loving one another and taking care of one another. Staying on code with one another. Looking out for one another. This is what we have to do. This is what the Father requires of us, man. So we got to be strong out here in order to keep our faith. And in order to stay strong with what is going on. You understand? Because if we don't, we're finished as a people. You know? And believe you me, I rather the people them being warned than the people them not being warned. I rather people them know what's going on than the people them not going down. And as I'm speaking about that, it's bringing me back to the book of Ezekiel, which I might go back into just to kind of tap on what I'm talking about in the book of Ezekiel, because you know it tells you you know, we got to warn the people whether they hear or forbear, just so that we can take that blood off of our hands, right? Right, so once we can take the blood off of our hands, then, you know, it becomes that person's judgment. You know what I mean? It becomes their judgment, man. And that's just what it is. As I'm looking for this scripture here in Ezekiel. Right? And Ezekiel, let me see right here if I can just find it here real quick. If I could find it real quick, just to let you guys know. You know, because we gotta be able to you know what I mean, we gotta be able to do the righteous acts of the Father. And as I say here, and as the Lord says here, so I'm gonna get back right quick into the book of Ezekiel, right, pertaining to what I was mentioning, right. And this is all still part of looking up, right, but we got to keep our faith as we watch and we see the signs in heaven that is speaking unto us, right. And it says and it says here in the book of Ezekiel, where am I in? I'm in chapter 2, and I'm gonna read from verse 5, and I will let you guys know where we are. And it says, and they, whether they will hear or whether will they forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there had been a prophet among them. So God is pretty much saying that we have to warn the children, whether they hear or forbear, right? Alright, you got to warn the children whether they hear or forbear. And I jump to verse 7. And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. So, you know what I mean, we as the children of Israel, we're very rebellious and stubborn people. Very hard-headed. As you would hear some of us, we speak these things in the book without we even knowing it's in the book. Oh, I'm a hothead. You know. Or I'm this, I'm that. You know. So this is to show that this book is talking about us, and we are very stubborn people and very rebellious people. Right? Because we have to get the blood off of our hands, man. Alright, we have to get the blood off of our hands. Alright. And if we do not get this blood off of our hands, then, you know, that's why it's important for us to warn. And we go jump down to Ezekiel chapter 3. Verse 11, and go to get thee to them of the captivity unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and to tell them, thus saith the Lord God, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. So, you know, we have to come and speak the language, whether you will hear or whether you forbear, you know. And if we jump down to verse 18, and he says, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor thou speakest to warn the wicked from the wicked ways, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. So, you know, this is exactly what I'm saying. So that's why I told people, I do not need to convince you. You understand? I do not need to convince you. But this is what I have to do. Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from the wicked ways, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. I do not want you guys' blood on my hands, man. I don't want your blood on my hands. Alright? So I have to give you warning. I have to do what I do, what the Spirit is compelling me to do. Because I do not, I do not want it on my hands, man. I gotta do my part. I gotta play my part. Right? And my part is to what? Not to take credit for anything that I have done, because I am nothing. The Most High Yahawah, the power, He's everything. YAHAWAH, He's everything. I am nothing. I am just a vessel that the Father is using to come and bring these words unto you. So don't think for ever in any 1 second that I will exalt myself as being somebody. You could call me a piece of shit for all I care. I do not care, because I am nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just a servant of the Most High Yahawah, the power. You know what I mean? So damn my words. You know what I mean? But the Father words will stand. You understand? Verse 19. If thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked ways, he shall die in his iniquity. But thou hast delivered thy soul. Which meaning, I have delivered my soul because I done what was required of me. I done what I supposed to do, so that your blood do not be on my soul, because I did not warn you. I done what I've supposed to done. And this is just exactly what it is. Right? So we got to do the work of the Most High. No one here is bigger than the Most High. We got to realize and understand and know it, that He is the one that created all things, including you and I. So you cannot be bigger than the Father. We cannot be bigger than the Father. But they have men, Israel. But they have men that exalt themselves. They have men on the earth exalt themselves as the all-knowing, and that they know everything and they have an answer. But they don't know nothing. Anything what they know is what the Father has shown them or given them. Believe you me, as you study and you read, you will understand what is going on in these books. So we cannot be lied to by men, because men are liars. And that's just a plain and simple fact. Right? Time to look up. Look up and see the signs of the heavens, because the heavens is talking. Look up and see the signs of the heavens, because the heavens is talking. Look up and look at the signs of heaven, because this heavens is talking. And especially you people out there in the Caribbean countries, you guys can see the skies a lot more clearer than us out here in the north. Right? So we out here in the North America, this is a fact. We have to deal with chemtrails and all of these polluted things that, not only in my opinion, but also in other scholars' opinion, and things out there that people have pointed out, that what the chemtrail does is it block out the moon, the stars, so it makes things from here in the north a little bit harder for us to see. Right? But you people down there in the Caribbean, and you people out there in South America, you guys have a better chance that when you look up, you can be able to see the stars and see the signs of the heaven. Not for you to be dismayed at it, but for you to look at it and see what it's telling you and it's studying you. You know what I mean? Because in Genesis 1:14 it tells you what it thing name, that the heavens, let there be light, and in the heavens for signs, for years, and for seasons, right? And for months. There's also other verses in other scriptures what tells you that it shows you the signs for month, right? So whenever the moon is very dark, if you look up at night, and you will see, because the moon it come in stages, they got a half a moon, quarter moon, and all these things. But if you look up there, the people them in South America, and then the people them who can be able to see the stars and see things clearly, right? Because we up here in the north, it's very difficult, for you to see certain things. I mean, you got to go at certain part of the country, and if you live a certain part in the country, you know what I mean, to travel out and to see that, you know what I mean, it can take a toll, right? So we rely on technology to kind of like knowing how sun going down, sun going up, and all of these type of stuff. But if you people there in the West Indies and in South America, take a look up at the stars nighttime. You know what I mean, sit back, you know, spend some times, and you know, just don't go in your house too early. Take your time and look up, and you will see signs in the heavens, and you know, you will be able to understand when it's a new month. Because as we read the scriptures and we study, we do not know, we don't see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those things are not mentioned in the Bible. Right? We see what? First day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, and seventh day. Those are what we see. We see numbers. Right? We do not see, you know, days of Mondays or all of these things, you know, which would go into other teaching for other time, that where you could understand where these days and the number of all these things come from. Right? But if you look up, when the moon is very dark, right, when the moon is very dark, you will see that the moon is very dark. That is a sign of the new month. Right? And what I will do at some time, because that's a different topic in itself, right, also I will go in and give you guys a more in-depth, in the next lesson, in a more in-depth understanding according to the scriptures, how you can be able to decipher, you know what I mean, the new month and days and things that go along with the Sabbath and all of those sort of stuff. Right? But it's time for us to look up. It's time for us to know what's going on, and it's time for us to keep our focus so that we can hold our faith in the Most High Yahawah the power. Right? We can hold our faith by honoring the sun, because we got to go through the sun, Yahawah Shai, in order to get to the Most High Yahawah the power. Right? Because in Revelation he told you, no man cometh to the Father but through me. Right? So we got to be able to understand these things, right? And why looking up is very important. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the book of Daniel, right? And to show you guys men them that keep the faith of the Lord. And by keeping the faith of the Lord and doing his laws, statutes, commandments, and having the faith and doing his righteous act and his righteous work, he will deliver you from anything. He will take care of anything that needs to be taken care of. He will take care of your bills. He will take care of everything that you need to take care of. Right? So, but you just have to keep the faith. He will place you among the right people that you need to be around. Right? As long as you keep in the faith, his law, statutes, and commandment, and rehearsing his righteous act. Right? Because once you keep in his law, statutes, and commandment and rehearsing his righteous act, you ain't gonna get into no man-made religion stuff. You understand? Where you have to call your father upon Father's Day and worship mother upon Mother's Day and all of that nonsense. You understand? Those are all man-made stuff. Once you start getting into this word, you will see what is required of you, and you will know what you have to do. Because the only person you should be celebrating is the Father. Alright? But that will be a different topic for a different time. But showing you here in the book of Daniel, and we're going to start in Daniel chapter 3, and we're going to read quite a few verses in Daniel to show you that there's men here who kept the faith in the Most High Yahawah the power, who kept the faith in Yahawah Shai, knowing that they will be delivered. Alright, so we can start at Daniel. I just read. We started Daniel chapter 3, read verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth of it thereof 6 cubits, and he set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. We skip to verse 5. That at the time he heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, he shall fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Verse 6. And whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Verse 7. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Verse 8. Wherefore at that time a certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. Verse 9. And they spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Verse 10. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. That was verse 11. Verse 12. There are a certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, and nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Verse 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought them, the same men, before the king. Verse 14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do he serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Verse 15. Now if he be ready at that time, when he hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, he shall fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if he worship not, he shall be cast into the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Now let's take a pause here for a minute. Now you hear what he says. Who is the God that can deliver you out of his hands? This is a man that is speaking and is telling the men them of the Lord who can deliver them out of his hands. But let's read. Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. Verse 17. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then answered Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. Then these men were bound in their coats, in their hosen, and in their hats, and in their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king commanded was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then Nebuchadnezzar and the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselor, Did not we cause three men bound into the midst of the fire? Excuse me. And they answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mount of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servant of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, whom hath sent his angel and delivered his servant trust in him, and hath changed the king's words, and yield their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, with that, brothers and sisters, you see a story of men who put their trust, who put their faith in the Most High Yahawah, the power. And if you read the story from beginning to end, you will see that those men who put their trust in the Father always been delivered. So once you keep looking up and you seeing the signs of the heaven, and Father is talking to you, what I'm saying here, brothers and sisters, is that He will always deliver you. So you do not have to put your trust in Maxine. You do not have to be feared to lose your job, what people is going to hold against you and to threaten against you. For the very fact that they have to hold a job and hold the dainties of these worlds, of this world, to threaten against you, is the very fact to you to have faith and to you to understand and to believe in the Most High Yahawah, the power, at this unprecedented time in our life, which is a very beautiful time that we're living in. You understand? Because the rulership of this world is at its end, and the kingdom is being given unto Jacob. So people are on the way out, and other people are on the way in. The true children them of God are on the way in, and they will do anything, because they will fight. They will fight, and they will do anything in the power to be in the position that they're in, and to keep this position that they're in. But they can't do anything against the power of the Most High God. You saw with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were cast into the fire, and they were tried, and they kept the faith. They did not worship no image. You understand? So we gotta study. We gotta come back to this last statutes and commandments, and the judgment of this Most High Yahawah, the power. For our forefathers have transgressed against Him. We have transgressed, and for the reason of transgression, this is the reason why we live in these conditions that we live in. This is the reason that no matter any part of the face of the earth you have gone or ever been, you will always see us in a lower state. You will always see people that come into a country, meet you in the country, and achieve and get more better than you. Because He already told us that this will be for our signs and for wonders. He already told us that He will curse us because we have transgressed against His last statutes and His judgment. So you gotta keep the faith. You gotta keep the faith. You gotta come back to this last statutes and commandments. Going into these so-called Christian churches and places, Those are not the places of God. And this is more than my opinion. Those are not the places of God. Because he told you, when this gospel has been preached to the four corners of the earth, then the end shall come. Now we could see everything that is happening around us. What we can see is happening around us. We know about the mice plagues in Australia. We know about the locusts in places in Afghanistan and things that you're not going to see on your mainstream news and your mainstream media. We know about what are you seeing? What are you seeing? You can see the wildfire. There's a wildfire right now that is going on in Greece. There's wildfire in BC, which is British Columbia in Canada. So we can see all of these wildfires that is going on around the earth, floods that has already take place a long time ago in China and in different parts of the earth. All we got to do is just do a little simple Google search, man, and you will be able to see these things, what I'm talking about. So these are all signs and these are all the wonders of the book. He already told you that these things will happen. So when you seeing these things come into fruition and come into pass, know that is the work of the Most High Yahawah, the power. Know that you got to keep faith like Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Know that you have to keep your faith, man, because those were men them that was keeping the faith, doing the law, statutes, and commandments, and the righteous act of the Most High Yahawah, and they have been delivered. So once you put your faith in him, you are going to be delivered. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about losing some bullshit job where you still working and you still can't even make ends meet anyways. Why would you have to worry about that? He's going to take care of you. Put your faith, believe in me, brothers and sisters. Put your faith, you will see it. You know what I mean? I put my faith a long time ago. Those who know me knows my story. You know, and as you see that video there with the light keep flashing, I remember when I was experiencing that situation. That is what I recorded off of my own phone. And I remember when I was experiencing that, and I was telling my friend and telling them, man, like, you know, this thing is happening. Remember telling my wife, you know, people say, oh, this is not instant. Because sometimes when things started happening to you, you're scared to mention certain things or to say or to have certain conversation with people, because they think like, yeah, you're probably a lunatic. Maybe you smoking too much drugs. Maybe you on some high dose of drugs. You're hallucinating and all of these things. And you know how the world is already. When they get ready to put you into a car and put you in a box and close it up. All right. So those are things that has been with thy servant. Does it make thy servant any special? Does it make thy servant better than? No, it does not. Right? Because we're here to do his will. But by servant, no. But by looking up and seeing these things and seeing that these things has been happening, you know what I mean, before the servant start recording, when the servant notice it, right? And as the humble servant of the Most High Yahawah, you know, when we pray, we always pray that the angels, they may be around us, man, to keep us and to guide us and to protect us, you know what I mean, along his righteous path and along his righteous ways, right? And you know, sometimes we can fall off, right? But when we fall off, you got to get right up back, man, and get right back on the journey, right? Because we see in the books, man, we see men them that keep their faith and got delivered. So once you keep in the faith, man, you will be delivered. You don't have to worry about Maxine. You don't have to go and be forced in no corner to go and take nothing that, you know, your spirit doesn't even agree with anyways to begin with. So, you know, this is a message for you so-called black, native, Hispanic, you know, that you are the true children of God. You are part of the 12th tribe of Israel. You know, you are coming from your forefathers of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And you all have to go back into keeping this works, man. And keeping this works is what's going to keep us strong and what's going to keep us along his righteous path and along his righteous ways, by keeping his commandments to the best of our ability and doing the best that we can, by loving our brothers, loving our sisters, and keeping the faith, so that we can teach our kids, we can teach our family members, and not everybody that you're going to mention certain things to is going to, you know what I mean, adhere. But, you know, Your job, sometimes the Most High use us in ways just to plant a little seed. Maybe somebody might just ask you, oh, what's his name? And you'll be able to tell him that, you know what I mean, that the world who they call ignorantly Jesus Christ is named YAHAWAH in the Hebrew tongue. You know, and we got to go through him to get unto the Father, which is his name, is the Most High Yahawah, the power. He has the power, man. Right? And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to tell us, you know what I mean, continue loving one another. Continue caring for one another as the children of Israel. You know what I mean? Love thy neighbor as yourself. It does not mean anybody else. Only the children of Israel. So continue to love one another. You know what I mean? Let's get a better understanding of these scriptures. You know what I mean? This place that we live in, this is our hell. You know what I mean? But it's about to be our heaven soon. Because things will turn around for us. The Most High Yahweh is back on his way. And he's already rigging this world and this earth of his judgment. And they're going to face it. So I want to encourage you, you know what I mean, not to take Maxine. To continue to having your faith in him. Continue to put your trust in him. And knowing that you putting your trust and your faith in him, you will be delivered. You putting your trust, not only just putting your trust and faith in him, but also keeping his commandments, doing his righteous acts. You know what I mean? Let's read the book. You know, let's read the book of Leviticus. It tells us, it gives us a dietary law of things what we should eat and what we should not eat. So, you know, let's get into this laws, man. Let's get into keeping his commandments, and let's get into doing his righteous acts and rehearsing his righteous ways, man. You know what I mean? And loving one another, taking care of one another, and not dealing with each other within hate. You know, if your brother might say certain things and you might not down with it, or you might not understand it, don't quick to cast him down to judgment. You know what I mean? You know, say, brother, what you're saying, you know, I don't totally understand, but what do you mean by this? Let's ask questions. Let's inquire of each other. And let's do the right thing, man, by loving each other, man. And I want to say to all you blacks, so-called blacks, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native American, that you are the true children of Israel. You are from the forefathers of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it's time we start loving each other. And I would also like to encourage you guys, you know what I mean, to like, share, and to subscribe to the video. Like, share, and to subscribe to the video. I mean, like, share, and subscribe. I mean, even if you dislike, you know what I mean, put the thumbs down. Right? If you like, put the thumbs up. But let's get to like, sharing, so that we can trigger the algorithm of YouTube, so that more people can see these videos, and more people could get to the word. And with that, I'm gonna close out by giving all honor and all glory unto the Most High Yahweh, the power. And with that, I'll say, come here, Yasharallah.